resistance. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, for example, unleashing that record-breaking 8.5 hours long unhinged diatribe to delay that vote, prompting rage, ridicule, and memes. The Republican leader's rant ranging from subjects like China to Hitler, Thanksgiving to Elon Musk, Vice President Kamala Harris's laugh, and Abraham Lincoln. Joining me now, Kurt Bardella, advisor to the DNC and DCCC, and Alencia Johnson, former consultant on the Biden and Warren campaigns. Welcome to you both. Good to see you. And, you know, guys, so much has happened this week. So what we're going to do is play another round of just the headline. I'm going to read the headline. You're going to give me your take. But before I get to that, first, I do want to get both your reactions to the story we just read about Kevin McCarthy. Kurt, first to you.
Well, if there's any question, which party's actually with parents, which party is good on education, which party is good on infrastructure, which party wants to actually do the hard work to make everyday Americans' lives better. Kevin McCarthy just put out basically the Democratic Congressional Campaigns Committee's next 45 ads with that unhinged, deranged, lie-filled rant that went on for some 8 hours the other night. And it just shows, I think, again, how have we gotten to a place where the party that talked about, quote-unquote, infrastructure week for like 4 years and didn't do anything about it, now turns around and tries to sell the idea that getting stuff done on infrastructure, on roads, bridges, healthcare, education, how that's somehow bad, how that's somehow radical or extreme. It's like, I keep waiting for Republicans to tell us, what's your solution? What's your alternative? What do you have to say other than no, no, no to every policy that's actually going to help the American people out? Because for the last couple of years now, all that we see from Republicans is obstruction. All that we see from Republicans are rhetorical theatrics and these desperate attempts to try to paint very popular ideas as something else. And I don't think the American people are buying it, Alex.
And I'm guessing neither is Alencia. Your thoughts?
Oh, my goodness. Beyond unhinged, it was a belligerent speech. And to be honest, let's think about the last time we heard a floor speech from a member of Congress that was almost that long. It was Nancy Pelosi really having a passionate conversation about immigration and about dreamers. And the Republican Party, their leadership, they're going on about a belligerent tirade, just making up stuff, and didn't take the opportunity to say, okay, you all are trying to pass pre-K and child care and lower prescription drugs. He could have used those 8 hours and said, Democrats, we disagree with on how you're doing it, but we also believe in these things that are wildly popular for everyone's base, right? These aren't partisan ideas. They are actually going to improve people in his base. And so just like I think Kurt said, this is the DCCC's ad campaign next year. I also think Democrats have an ad campaign that says we are the party that is for all of these things, and Republicans are not. They voted against every single one of these policies and just listened and clapped for their leader to be this belligerent and unhinged.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's switch gears here. Talking about GOP lawmakers really falling over each other to offer jobs to Kyle Rittenhouse. You had Congressman Matt Gaetz, Madison Cawthorn, Paul Gosar all offering Rittenhouse an internship in their offices. So, Kurt, what would Rittenhouse bring to these congressional offices or vice versa? I mean, his attorney says that Rittenhouse, first of all, wants to be a nurse.
Yeah, gosh, we have these people, these characters. Gosar, who just was censured by the United States House of Representatives for putting up a video of him murdering one of his colleagues. I guess maybe that would be a good fit for Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't know. It just shows that, again, the Republicans are just interested in stunts, in cheap tricks, in theatrics, not in actually doing the work that will make this country better. I expect Kyle Rittenhouse to be the next big conservative cause celeb. He'll have his book deal. He'll have a show on Fox Nation's streaming white nationalist network. Maybe he'll be the keynote speaker at the next CPAC conference. Maybe Donald Trump will bring him out on the trail in 2022. And if your mascot is somebody who was just tried for the murdering of 3 people, like if that's the face you want to put on your party going forward, then okay, go ahead. I think that you are just writing the narrative for the Democratic Party and the rationale for why we are the party that's responsible. We are the party interested in getting stuff done. We are not the party that's going to play into these ridiculous, insane stunts. And frankly, it's just dangerous to elevate someone and elevate the idea of violence, to elevate the idea that the proper way to express your disagreements with a political discourse is to show up somewhere with an AR-15 and see what ends up happening. Everybody should be watching what's happening right now and understand the idea that the Republican Party is a pro-life party is 100% BS.
How about this for you, Alencia? Republicans, they're hinting at retribution after the Democrats throw Congressman Paul Gosar off committees. Kevin McCarthy delivered a veiled threat that Democrat seats might not be safe if his party takes control next year. What did you make of that?
I feel like we talked about this last time I was on here, and we're talking about a member who literally said that they would incite violence on their fellow colleague. I mean, if no one draws the line there, then I don't know where we're going to draw the line. And I think that it is a very reasonable conversation that Democrats are having when you make threats like that, when you say that you will actually enact violence on the President of the United States and your fellow colleague. And Democrats are saying, hold us accountable, too, if someone in our party actually does something like this. I do think it's really telling what the Republican Party is trying to let the American people know, that they are willing to play these kind of petty tit-for-tat games and actually not be this party that is actually for, having common discourse and being able to disagree on ideology, but we are going to be able to work together with some common decency and respect. But we also know that based on their actions and the ways in which they gaslight the American people, the ways in which they uplift people like Rittenhouse, they uplift so many different people in their party, that they're not in this for doing what's right. They just want to continue to maintain power.
Interesting assessment from you both. Kurt, Alencia, always a pleasure, you guys. Thank you so much. So it is a whole lot of money, and there's a lot of concern that the Build Back Better plan could make inflation climb higher. But the unemployment rate, that's falling. Retail sales are surging. So are we missing part of the picture? We'll get some answers to that next.